you see the NDR working paper about how UBI seems bad? Yeah, I'd like headlines. I've heard about this. That it, yeah, but I haven't read this, so I have no idea what the actual impacts. I don't know what this paper said in detail. I've only seen like posts about it saying that apparently this NBER paper said that it ended up heavily discouraging work or something, or it wasn't that great. But again, I didn't read it, so I'm not sure. Tim Pool's take on the same subject. We need to talk about this focus group. Wow, the DJ, thanks for the tier 5 subber. 2-hour video. Rate cuts? Ugh, I hate listening to people talk about econ. It actually just triggers the fuck out of me. Well, oh, yeah, he put it right at the beginning. Okay, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're doing this for like 5 minutes, okay?
It's the moment you've all been waiting for. Kamala Harris has begun to release her campaign policy positions, and I guess, I mean, it's kind of surprising. You'd think she'd try to avoid this stuff, but I also guess kind of surprising to very few. Her first policy position is literal communism.
To be clear, I want to say in the United States, I think there are already laws against, during COVID, weren't people arrested for hoarding and then reselling at higher prices? What is the law against this? Are these state laws, federal laws? Let's look it up. Laws against hoarding, natural disasters. Is this it? Is this a federal thing or is this a state thing? Or let's see. In order to prevent hoarding, this was in 1950. No person shall accumulate in excess of the reasonable demands of business, personal, or home consumption for the purpose of resale at prices in excess of prevailing market prices, materials which have been designated by the president as scarce materials or materials the supply of which will be threatened by such accumulation. The president shall order published in the Federal Reserve, or I'm sorry, in the Federal Register, and in such other manner as he may deem appropriate, every designation of materials, the accumulation of which is unlawful. Okay, so is this passed right now? 50 USC 5412. Been watching your old debates. Seems like you have a good understanding of both sides of the arguments a lot of times. Could you do like recaps after debates? Yeah, the recap is I'm based and they're lame. 50 USC, okay, 4512, okay. In making such designations, the president may prescribe such conditions with respect to the accumulation of materials in excess of the reasonable demands of business, personal, or home consumption as he deems necessary to carry out the objectives of this manner. This section shall not be construed to limit the authority contained in sections 5411 and 4511 and 4554. Priority in contracts and orders. And regulations and orders. So the president does have the ability. Did this happen during COVID? COVID, hoarding, 4512. Federal crackdown on hoarding and gouging during the COVID-19 crisis. Imagine it's spring 2020, you're in a warehouse. Today's legal landscape. The possibility of these types of scenarios is all too real, and so are the potential criminal and civil penalties that could flow forth from them. The Defense Production Act of 1950, 50 USC 4512, okay, that's what we just read, generally prohibits individuals and entities from hoarding materials that have been deemed to be scarce. Okay. Recently, an executive order was issued under which several categories of goods had been designated as scarce or threatened. Okay, so this was the federal statute then that, and then it was by executive order. This was added to the Federal Register. Okay, cool, gotcha. Okay, so this is already a thing the president can do. Now, to be fair, Kamala Harris might be talking about something different, a different type of law. We really don't know because she hasn't said anything in detail, so I don't know how we're going to do a whole section criticizing it. But I also know that banning price gouging or looking at anything like this has literally nothing to do with communism. It's already part of the federal code, and presidents in the United States have already done this. So unless we are, maybe he would say we already are communist. But okay, let's find out what he says.
I also guess kind of surprising to very few. Her first policy position is literal communism. She's backing price gouging bans, okay, which literally means price controls. Price gouging is a relatively nonsense term. There are certain contexts where you can argue there's actual price gouging.
Price gouging is a nonsense term. If I'm being charitable, it can be sometimes, sure. It could be nonsense depending upon. But again, it's hard to say without actually seeing what she's going to be talking about.
But generally it means private businesses can't set their own prices. Oh, I'll talk to you all about price gouging, and I think it should be totally allowed. You can charge whatever you want for whatever you want. Now, if a group of businesses get together and conspire to fix prices, what's price fixing? Price fixing is different. That's anti-competitive. But Kamala Harris, along with Joe Biden, are making the arguments. Biden first made the argument that the reason prices are too high right now is not because of, I don't know, hundreds of billions of dollars being spent on Ukraine, mass spending and government mismanagement, open borders, and a...
I don't believe we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on Ukraine. Didn't the last aid package, what was it, how much money in actual cash or money, or was it just loan guarantees? Was it 30 billion? How much money have we spent? How much actual cash have we spent on Ukraine since the beginning of the entirety of the conflict? How much money in cash? The thing is, I don't even know if it was cash or if it were like if they were loan reserves, or not loan reserves, sorry, loan guarantees. How much money in cash United States spent on Ukraine? How much U.S. aid money is going to Ukraine? So this last bill is 61.3 billion. I don't know. I don't think this is cash. Is this including all? Oh, wait, here we go. Or is this just cash? Okay, from the total 175 billion in US spending, 107 billion goes to Ukraine. The budget support is 34.2 billion, and then weapon equipment and other military support is 70 billion. This is so the denomination of cash here is for weapons. I'm assuming, I think. Because it could be that we're spending money too if we're like replacing stuff as well, that we might be. But also if we're spending money to replace stuff, technically that money, I guess it would depend on where the things are manufactured. Because if we spent, let's say that we like, okay, so the level one argument would be, wow, we sent $20 billion to Ukraine. Then the counter would be, well, hold on, it's not $20 billion in weapon, or it's not $20 billion in cash. We're actually sending weapons and stuff. And then the counter to that argument would be, well, okay, sure, but we still have to replace that stuff. So it's still $20 billion sent worth of stuff, basically, because we have to buy it again. But then the counter to that argument, well, okay, sure, but it's $20 billion going back into manufacturing in the U.S. economy. And then the counter to that would either be, well, it's not like we're making that here, we import it, or it's just government spending, so it's bad. But it's not like just money that's just like lost to Ukraine forever, right? But also, wait, yeah, that's true too. Hold on. If the United States was just shipping hundreds of billions of dollars of cash over to Ukraine, would that be deflationary? Unless they're borrowing to do it. If you could put $100 billion of cash into U.S. pockets or send $100 billion in cash to Ukraine, the immediate effect, I imagine, would be deflationary. Now, that USD could make it back to the U.S. in the form of other types of external investment. But immediately, I imagine it would be deflationary, no? Unless you just print a new $100 billion to do it, I guess, right? I don't know. Fuck macroecon and fuck all this cuck shit. I'm sure Temple has a very comprehensive understanding of all this stuff, so we'll just let him talk it through it.
Oh, it's not because of, I don't know, hundreds of billions of dollars being spent on Ukraine, mass spending and government mismanagement, open borders, and a flood of...
Oh, that too. Open borders and the flood, of course. True.
Low-skilled workers displacing other low-skilled workers. No. They're saying the real argument is it's those dang corporations. They've decided just to charge you more money for no reason. They're allowed to. Thank you and have a nice day. If McDonald's wants to charge $50 for a cheeseburger, they're allowed to do it. And the argument is, yeah, but all the other restaurants are charging the same thing. Nobody can afford this. Well, I guess that's their prerogative. They're allowed to charge what they want. You can't come to me and tell me I have to do labor for you at a certain rate. Because ultimately what price controls come down to, anti-price gouging, is someone coming to you. Imagine they said this. I want you, dear viewer, to go work the register at McDonald's. And I know it's called McDonald's, I'm joking. And imagine you were like, I don't want to work at McDonald's. Well, no, you have to do it. You need the job, right? Well, I do need the money. Great. What is it worth for your skill set, your college degree, your 10 years of experience in mechanical engineering to work at McDonald's? You're like, I'm way overqualified. I don't want to do this job. You got to pay me $20 an hour. Wrong. You're only allowed to get paid $12 an hour because now you're price gouging. There's no difference. If a business says, for us to do the work, it has to be worth it, we're going to charge what engineering to work at McDonald's. You're like, I'm way overqualified. I don't want to do this job. You got to pay me $20 an hour. Wrong. You're only allowed to get paid $12 an hour because now you're price gouging. There's no difference. If a business says, for us to do the work, it has to be worth it, we're going to charge what we want, to shut that down, nonsense. But we'll talk all about this. I can't say I'm surprised. I want to give a A shout out to our friends, the Krasensteins, for giving one of the greatest tweets I've ever seen, where he's like, so what, I'm not kidding, he said, when the left controls prices and gives money to certain people, that's communism. And I'm just like, I can't believe the guy tweeted that. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm in a good mood this morning. And then we got the Kamala Harris Democrat event being attacked by far leftist pro-Palestine protesters. We've got a new poll showing people want Joe Biden to step down and resign the presidency. We knew this was coming. A new poll coming out showing around 60% of people saying Joe Biden should resign the presidency. Kamala Harris then becomes president. And Ted Cruz predicted this. And then, thanks to a popular request from everyone's favorite Raymond G. Stanley Jr., I got a cultural segment for you. It's this viral video of a woman who's pulling her pants down in an AT&T store and showing off her underwear while making strange noises. And everyone's like, why would someone film themselves going into an AT&T store and pulling their pants down and squeaking and making weird noises? I think this is TikTok melting the brains of people intentionally as a cyber weapon. Because this woman...
Okay, where's the gouging? When does he go back to this? I don't need this retarded culture war shit.
Don't worry, Trump's getting no special treatment from me. We'll talk about that in a second. The New York Times reports Vice President Kamala Harris will call for a federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries in a speech laying out her economic agenda on Friday. Campaign officials said late Wednesday, an effort to blame big companies for persistently high costs of American consumer staples. The plan includes large overlaps with efforts that the Biden administration has pursued for several years to target corporate consolidation and price gouging. Corporate consolidation, you start to have a real argument. They say including attempts to stoke more competition in the meat industry, fair, and the Federal Trade...
Wait, what's wrong with corporate consolidation, though? If you want to charge a certain amount, you have a right to do that, no? What? Wait, why does he feel so much differently about corporate consolidation? I'm curious. Maybe he'll lay out the details.
Commission's lawsuit this year that seeks to block the merger of two large grocery retailers, Kroger and Albertsons. First question, do Kroger and Albertsons overlap in territory? Otherwise, I don't know that it matters. It also follows through on what people familiar with Ms. Harris's forthcoming economic agenda said this week would be a centerpiece of her plans, an aggressive rhetorical attempt to shift the blame for high inflation onto corporate America. Polls show that argument resonates strongly with voters, including independent voters who could decide the November election. Welcome to the end, my friends, because people, they ain't smart enough to understand. When you spend $200 billion on foreign war, your prices go up. Okay.
I don't know if that's true. I need to stop being charitable that like, well, maybe he blah, blah, blah. I don't know what, like, I just don't know if that's necessarily true. I feel like there's a lot of ways that could be true and a lot of ways that couldn't be true. But this sounds like an incredibly complicated, like macro econ transaction. And the idea that it would so simply lead to also like the percentage of Ukrainian spending that we're doing compared to even just our discretionary budget. I think our discretionary spending is over like $1 trillion per budget now, right? Are we just always spending that much money? Not even taking into account our non-discretionary, right? Does it? I don't know why I'm pretending like I would trust that he's done any amount of reading into this. But
when you spend $200 billion on foreign war, your prices go up. Okay, so I try to break this down simply. I'm not an economist, but there is something simple. When you mass print and mass produce money, and how do they do it? Well, money is created upon the issuance of debt in the United States. So when someone takes out a loan, they go, there's your money. Literally, when you spend money on a credit card, you're just creating money. That's it. Now, it's supposed to be paid back with interest, and the interest rates are to control it.
Oh, God, fuck. I don't want to listen to this because I can't protect you from his misinformation. I don't trust him to understand anything, so I'm not even going to begin to try to... I know he hasn't done any macro econ studying ever, so I would never trust anything he says, but I don't think I have the depth of knowledge to dispute any of it. My intuitive feeling is that when a consumer spends money on a credit card, I don't know if that's the same type of money creation in the same way that when a bank is allowed to lend and only maintain a certain balance, or when like large Federal Reserve banks are lending either. I don't know. I'm not sure enough, but I would never trust him on any of these fucking topics. So, okay. All right. We're going to do J6 shit. Just disavow debt. Yeah. One of the things we're going to do is we will do a macro econ course. We will do this. It's in the docket. We will get to it. The USA is sending stuff that needs to be scrapped. It literally costs money to get rid of it. Sending it to Ukraine and writing it off is literally cheaper and creates US jobs to replace equipment. I've heard people say that. I just haven't dug into that on my own to like also say that. But I've heard that too, yeah. Have you seen this? I haven't. It seems dumb. split VOD. Okay, hold on. What are you guys screaming about in here? Okay. Why does military equipment need to be replaced if it's already in surplus? I don't understand why the premise. The assets need to and will be replaced. I don't even know what you're... I'm not even sure what you're asking there. Okay. All right. Okay, we're switching gears. We did our we did our focus group. I had my 5 people listen through this for, what did this take? Like 7 hours to get through. Jesus Christ, this took a long time. But I feel like I got really good feedback on some things. I'm trying to figure out, like, okay. If I think of like the major plot lines that all lead up to January 6th. I would think of like the big lie, so the voter fraud. This would include things like the Kraken. This would include things like Georgia and Ruby. So you've got like the big lie. You've got like the electors plot. That's a big one. You've got, should I do legal challenges or lawsuits? Wait, hold on one second. Okay, just kidding. Okay, so you've got the big lie, you've got the electors plot, you've got the court cases. Would that be like a separate thing? We could say that. The court cases. No. Well, no. The Dominion story. You've got the Clark AG scandal. You've got organized violence, which is Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. You've got Trump's public pressure, or you've got Trump's pressure, which is on lawmakers and on Pence. You've got insurrection as a tool. So January 6th lip speech, Trump's inaction on the day of. What other major... What's the shortcut in this fucking program to minimize everything and then to start minimizing things? What's the shortcut? There's a shortcut in this. It's called like folding or riveting or something. Is it fold? Control T? Nope. Control P? Fold. Ah. Unfold all headings and lists. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then I can do fold all headings and lists. Okay. Oh, we've got ending the election. We've got, these are the lawsuit things. Oh, part of the big lie was also things like fake videos. Fake videos / investigations. So things like that 2,000 mules. I think that the one cybersecurity, OSAC, cybersecurity, whatever bullshit this was. Trump's calls to change state votes. You've got the phone calls to states like Raffensperger. This whole elector meme. Oh, you've got the Pence Jan 6 certification stuff. Anything basically involving the 12th Amendment or constitutional. False elector scam. You've got the whole Clark stuff. Do I have that in here? The Clark AG scandal, yeah. Also Barr's resignation. You've got public recruitment for this rally. You've got conspiracy theories about J6, which is the Fedsurrection, Ray Epps. They let them in. And then you've got the rewriting afterwards. Oh, okay. There's so much. There's so much and there's too much. I've talked to a couple people in real life about this. To kind of see what they think. Hold on. There's a couple things that I think there's a couple things that stand out to people a lot. fuck. Hold on, I'm thinking. Jack's Lonerbox's opinion. Yeah, I don't think that matters. Not that his opinion doesn't matter, but that he's like it's the or I don't need his opinion. No, his opinion matters. We love Lonerbox here. I'm trying to think of fuck, I'm trying to think of, I feel like I'd rather just write this off stream. That's what I'm thinking right now. No, okay. I'm just gonna talk through this. There's too many different major plot lines here. There's too many pieces of information. There's too much going on here. There are a couple of huge events that are more important. This is something that I've been super critical of. I'm very critical of other people that make documentaries, and the reason why I'm critical usually is because I'm saying people have picked really bad stories. They don't pick a good story to tell. They've got too large a collection of facts, which I think is a huge issue for some reason for a lot of like modern biopics. They seem to be really bad at picking out like strong emotional beats. They just seem to be really, really, really bad at that. So like when I reference like that Napoleon movie that I watched, it was just horrible. It's like a collection of random scenes from his life. I have no clue what the through line is on any of it. It seems like fucking trash. So when I think of emotions, there are a couple things that when I talk to people about stuff going on, normie friends in real life, and then people in the focus group that we did, and then emails that I've gotten from people as well, there are a couple of really big things that stand out when it comes to emotional things. So things that invoke some type of emotion are really important. A second thing that's important is, as much as possible, needs to be shown in original video/audio form. Anytime you have Trump talking, best is incriminated person. Next best is incriminated person's collaborator, I guess you would say. And then next best would be, I can just label these, I guess. Affected person / victim, and then friend of affected person / victim. If I have incriminating conversations from a guilty party themselves, that type of evidence always plays really strongly when people have heard them. So examples of this would be obviously Trump speaking. As I've played different things for different people, there are parts of that Georgia phone call that sound really funny and bad to people. But part of the reason why they work too is because they evoke these emotional points. Hearing Trump say, do people just move back to Georgia? Who does that? It's funny. It evokes a laugh. It makes people laugh. It's a funny line. And it also illustrates like how absurd like his claim of voter fraud is here. Like, what, do people actually go back to Georgia? Of course, obviously. What a crazy, stupid thing to say. It's not social media, it's Trump media. That's a very funny, that's a funny thing to hear. It's just such a ridiculously stupid, it's such a ridiculously stupid line. There were other things. I think there was at least one other thing on that phone call too. I'm trying to think. Oh, Trump's speech. many ellipsis quotes. There are so many quotes in this speech that people are unaware of. Most people don't know. Most people think that what Trump did was he got up and he said, "Hello, fellow patriots. I want you all to march peacefully to the Capitol. God bless and good luck." And that was it. There's so many quotes from here. Quotes about fighting. Quotes about the electors. Once I point this plot out, when I point the electors thing, this starts to stand out in people's minds at different points in time as well. What else has Trump said or done as part of this? It's hard to get Trump recorded talking about anything because he won't testify, obviously, or anything like that. For collaborators building stories, my God, the Stone and the Bannon stuff are just so good. Hearing them claim how the election night will go down. This was a really good talking point to hear. I don't know if this played as well with the focus group. I don't know if I played the videos for the focus group. The videos are really, really important. You have to hear the other people say these things. But the election night call is a big one. Roger Stone and Bannon talking about how this is what he's going to do, and then seeing how close they are. This is a really, really big one. Text messages to Mark Meadows, or I guess I'll put Mark Meadows, the line of texts and who they are from. That's a really big one, especially the ones, I don't know if this is friends in real life or in the focus group when they said like the Trump Jr.'s texts. Seeing text from his own son going to Mark Meadows was a really big one. Giuliani, the voicemail that he left on... he was looking for Tuberville, but he contacted... Who did he contact? Voicemail for Tuberville. I'll just put this, I think. This is after you've walked through the whole timeline of what happened, and then seeing Giuliani leave that voicemail, that's crazy. Oh, this one played well. Did we watch the video on the focus group with everybody they showed this to? It was the not willing to say the election was over on an outtake. That outtake is really good too. Him saying, "I don't want to say the election's over. I'm just going to say Congress has certified it." That was a big sticking point. Incriminated persons collaborator. So Stone and Bannon, Mark Meadows, Giuliani, his voicemail for Tuberville. I feel like Barr should be a bigger portion, but I didn't push the Barr stuff enough. I'll put it in a question mark. Fuck, I don't know if I can incorporate Barr. Your attorney general not wanting to go along with you and then quitting is a really big deal. I don't know if I presented it well enough, though. I need to play Pence's interview on Fox News about what Trump was asking. This would probably go under here. Well, he was well, I guess it wasn't really a collaborator, huh? So it would be, this is an affected person / victim. And then, was it Jacobs' testimony about what Pence was doing in the basement? That sounds really weird. In terms of huge presentation, mind changer things. The timeline on the day of is really important to stress two huge things. The initial break-ins need videos. I showed some of police fighting plus initial break-ins plus media coverage that day. That's a huge talking point because a lot of people don't know that the people weren't initially let in. That's wild. So you have on the timeline on the day of, the initial break-ins was a big one. Trump's inaction. I think that walking through minute by minute and having this is his tweet and this happened an hour after this, 30 minutes after this. This was 20 minutes after Babbitt had been shot and killed. This was 15 minutes after they said hang Mike Pence. He tweeted this out. I think that this is a huge, almost everybody that I've talked to, I think did they talk about the timeline that much on the focus group? Seeing Trump tweet things out in the context of everything else that was happening was a really big deal because it helps you contextualize these tweets so much better because people always say, oh, he tweeted out to be peaceful, but it feels a lot different. It feels a lot different to read this tweet in the context of everything else that is that's happening. Who was the testimony about McCarthy? McCarthy's call with Trump was a big one. I don't remember. There's a Republican lady representative who was who testified about that call. This is so much easier. Well, with a neutral people, it was easier. I don't know how much easier it would be. Well, I'm not trying to convince MAGA people, but maybe we could. Showing a full through line of particular lies. I think that people were surprised at when you see a lie that's repeated over and over and over again, and then you see the origination of it as bullshit, you see him told that it's bullshit, and then that was a really big part. I think the focus group identified that. I think a few people said that this, like just seeing how many times he was told, hey, this is bullshit. Here he is saying it 2 days later. By the way, this isn't bullshit. Hey, this is bullshit. Here it is 2 days later. That's not bullshit. Seeing this over and over and over and over again, I think is pretty big. The whole elector thing. This is big. The videos of the people at the courthouse is a really big deal. All of the mentions. Oh, once I've explained the entire elector thing, watching that OAN video that Trump retweeted twice is really crazy. Trump retweets of the OAN plot, his constant calls to choose the right electors. I need to pick. The Georgia lies are so good here. I need to pick a couple of these and just show the full. I think that the Ruby Freeman thing might be like the best example of. I'm trying to think. Did Trump bring up Ruby Freeman when he spoke at the Ellipse? Oh God, that would just be so perfect. That would just be so perfect. Donald Trump Ellipse speech. He brought up like every single fucking voter fraud allegation. Why is it so hard to find this full speech also? What the fuck? It was about an hour long. Why is it so hard to see the whole thing? Plus 6 more. Like 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 27 minutes. Why? Add full to the end of your search. 32 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes. Live. 1 hour, 1 day ago. Trump, ellipse, full, speech. I mean, I have it on C-SPAN, but how annoying. Fuck. What did he say about Georgia? We've got the Fulton County things. Oh, he's got this here. He mentions this move out thing, even though it was, he literally had the guy explain it to him. The Dominion stuff. Damn, I don't know if he does the, does he have like the boxes? I don't know if he still runs with the, Oh, he does have it. Oh, thank God. Then election officials pulled boxes, Democrats, and suitcases of ballots out from under a table. You saw it all on television, totally fraudulent, and illegally scanned them for nearly 2 hours, totally unsupervised. Tens of thousands of votes. Oh, yes. Because I feel like the Georgia thing is like literally the best. It's the best through line of, you've got like the original OAN video. You've got the retweet by Rudy Giuliani. You've got, I think Trump might bring it up to Barr. Then you've got Trump talking about it to Raffensperger, who then says it's not true. You've got the media publishing videos that show you that it's not true. Then you've got Trump repeating the lie again on January 6th after it's been internally and externally debunked. And then you cap it off with Giuliani trying to claim that he's allowed to lie legally about it and then losing the case for it. That's like such a great, that the Ruby Freeman is like the best through line of like obvious fucking lie. It is the best through line of obvious fucking lie. This entire story is so good from start to finish. Okay. OAN got it from Giuliani's court case. If you could link me that, that would be. I'll do more reading into all of this just to have. Okay. I think I have like I definitely have 2. I might have 3 big emotional polls. The Clark story is so good and so dramatic, and it is. And I'm trying to remember. Fuck, I've talked to so many people privately recently about this now that I'm not remembering how the focus group. I read some of the Hirschman deposition to them. In real life people, but I've had to explain a lot to build up to this point. But once I have, the Clark story is so good. This is such a good story, and it blows up in such an unbelievably dramatic fashion because it's just and it involves several other plots It involves kind of the bullshit elector thing. It involves Barr having resigned and gotten these two people. It involves the big lie about voter fraud. It involves Trump intentionally lying that just call it corrupt and leave the rest to me. It's a big quote. This is such a good, it's dramatic. It wraps up multiple plot points, culminates in a hugely climactic event with multiple witness testimony. It involves like epic, sweeping, like bureaucratic resistance, right? All the people in the DOJ who said they would quit. We've got good deposition from Hirschman. I'm butchering his name. This is like this story is such a great, and I'm gonna end up. I'll probably just read every deposition from people that were involved in this. I was reading through more of Hirschman's deposition yesterday because it's like 200 pages. It's 200 pages, but it's like 40 real pages because it's the text is long or whatever. But the deposition stuff is but I didn't read other people's depositions about this event. I want to read everybody's deposition about this event because I bet there's more. I also really want to see, because in Hirschman's deposition, he references, is Donahue or, I'm just thinking in terms of like how, like putting it together, or Rosen, do these guys testify in front in public? Because if I could get in voice them testifying publicly saying that Hirschman is kind of an asshole, and then we can do like Hirschman's deposition reading, that would be such a good. But Rosen might have just said this in deposition. How big of a guy is Hirschman? There's no chance that he would ever be willing to like that. I could like reach out to this dude, and get him to do a reading of this deposition. Could I? I think there's no way. I haven't watched him speak in real life ever. I wonder if he... Oh, fuck. Oh, and it's a call. They have this recorded. Is the full... Do they have the full deposition? No, because I read a... I was reading the deposition, so they probably don't have the full video. Video exhibits. They're not going to have it. It's not going to be here. Team normal. Oh, if this, I would like to hear this on voice. If he says this on voice, that would be so nice. Hold on, I'm curious what. Fuck. Why? Who were? I know one of you. Hold on. This J6 committee had over 1,000 people working on it. Absolutely, I know it did. For how extensive this is and how much, like, between staffers, between other... I know one of you motherfuckers watches my stream. There has to be at least one of you motherfuckers watching. Email me, goddammit, and tell me how I can fucking FOIA or whatever the fuck I need to do to get at least a redacted version of that interview. I don't know what Secret Service bullshit or whoever executive has to go through it to see what needs to be redacted. I know at least one of you motherfuckers. Watch my stream. You have to. There has to be. There must have been so many people working on this J6 Select Committee stuff. Between all of between all the people working with all the politicians, everything, there must be. Why is this taking so long?
I guess before we move on from Dr. Eastman, did you have any communications with Dr. Eastman either on January 6th or any time after that?
I did.
Can you tell us about those?
Yes. It was the day after. Eastman, I don't remember why he called me, or he texted me or called me, wanted to talk with me, and he said he couldn't reach others. And he started to ask me about something dealing with Georgia and preserving something potentially for appeal. And I said to him, "Are you out of your effing mind?" Right? I said, "I only want to hear two words coming out of your mouth from now on. Orderly transition." And I screamed, I said, "I don't want to hear any other effing words coming out of your mouth, no matter what, other than orderly transition. Repeat those words to me." And I screamed at him. Eventually he said, "Orderly transition." I said, "Good, John. Now I'm going to give you the best free legal advice you're ever getting in your life. Get a great effing criminal defense lawyer. You're going to need it." And then I hung up on him.
This guy is a meme machine, okay? This Hirschman dude is a meme machine. This is the guy whose deposition we read earlier about all this shit going on. Fuck, I just want his full... I just wanted the full video of his deposition. But Rosen and the other guys probably did a deposition as well about it.
White House attorney Eric Hirschman requested that he be included on a list of potential recipients of a presidential pardon.
Wait, what?
In fact, just a few days later, Dr. Eastman emailed Rudy Giuliani and requested that he be included on a list of potential recipients of a presidential pardon.
Wait, what? Hold on. Fuck. There's so much stuff about this. Everything about this is so bad. Sorry. There's so many different things. Hold on. Eastman, email, Giuliani, included list presidential pardons. Is that a thing? Is there like a leaked email or something from this that I can see? Eastman asked Giuliani to help him get on Donald Trump's list for a presidential pardon, according to an email revealed by the J6 Select Committee on Thursday. "I've decided that I should be on the pardon list if that's still in the works," Eastman wrote to Giuliani in the email. Wait, where are these? I don't want to re-research anything.
In fact, just a few days later, Dr. Eastman emailed Rudy Giuliani and requested that he be included on a list of potential recipients of a presidential pardon. Dr. Eastman's email stated, quote, "I've decided that I should be on the pardon list, if that is still in the works." Dr. Eastman did not receive his presidential pardon. So let's see what Dr. Eastman did as a result when he was deposed by this committee.
I plead the fifth.
I assert my Fifth Amendment right against being compelled to be a witness against myself.
Did the Trump legal team ask you to prepare a memorandum regarding the vice president's role in the counting of electoral votes at the joint session of Congress on January 6, 2021?
Yeah.
Dr. Eastman, did you advise the President of the United States that the Vice President could reject electors from 7 states and declare that the President had been reelected?
Yeah.
Dr. Eastman, the first sentence of the memo...
There are so many amendments.
7 states have transmitted dual slates of electors to the President of the Senate. Is that statement in this memo true?
Yeah.
wait. Like, hold on. Wait. Which amendment was it again?
Yeah.
The 5th. That one, yeah. President Trump authorized you to discuss publicly your January 4th, 2021 conversation with him.
Which one is it again? Hold on, let me check my camera. Wait, which one? Hey.
5th.
Okay. Was he mouthing yes or 5th? Hold on. What was he mouthing?
21 conversation with him.
5th.
So is it your position that you can discuss in the media direct conversations you had with the President of the United States, but you will not discuss those same conversations with this committee?
5th.
Okay.
Dr. Eastman pled the 5th 100 times.
I'm sorry. I need to copy that email. I do need to copy that email. We used a blurry copy of the email in the actual hearing, but this guy was able to figure out the whole email. Well, in the I'm curious if in the J6 if it might just be in here, like the full unblurred thing. I went frame by frame through the committee video. Well, do they source the email at all in here? Ugh, don't make me load the whole fucking gov info. Third, I've decided that I should be on the pardon list if that's still in the works. Will taint me, but given the outright lies and false witness being spewed, having that protection is probably the prudent course. Fourth, I'm working up an invoice and we'll get it to you as soon as I'm able to turn to it. Oh my God. Is that ordinary? Does anybody know that? Is that... Oh, shit. That's such a good point. No, it's not a good point. Never mind. Could it be a good point? If Trump pardoned somebody, they wouldn't be able to plead the Fifth Amendment anymore. But he pardoned Roger Stone, didn't he? So couldn't they bring back Stone and then depose him in relation to stuff related to Trump? They'd need a new... You can depose people that aren't accused of a crime, right? You can depose people in conjunction with somebody else, right? C, select committee to investigate the January 6th attack in the U.S. Capitol hearing on the... Oh, okay, the hearing. So they did 2/29/50.
Meetings beyond the day on which they were supposed to be completed.
Let me see if I understand this. Dr. Eastman did not receive...
Okay, so they didn't actually... They don't have that in the J6 stuff here. They do just have this on their video format. 3/28. Wait, hold on. Source 3/28. Control F. 495 is what we're starting. 3/28. Wait. Documents on file with the select committee to investigate the J6th attack. Chapman. They have something. Documents on file. Oh, they do have the whole email. Oh, that guy went through all that trouble of trying to decipher the video, and it's right here. Rudy, I'm having to defend myself before administrators at 2 different universities. Not a problem, but it would help if I could have the dossier on Antifa involvement in the Capitol breach last week. What is this dossier that they're referring to? What? Can you send me what your team has gathered thus far? Who is Giuliani's team? Who are they, who's even working for him at this point? On what? Second, what's the latest on the impeachment team? Do we know who's going to be involved? Man, he's real concerned about this. Third, I've decided that I should be on the pardon list, if that's still in the works. Will taint me, but given the outright lies and false witness being spewed, having that protection is probably the prudent course. Roger Stone was not pardoned, he was given clemency. He was given clemency and he was eventually pardoned, both.